Hey everybody, Arachne Queen here, and today we are going to talk about one of my biggest pet peeves when it comes to talking about spiders, or arachnology in general. And that is a certain little species known as the Tegenaria agrestis. Now, once again, big words. The Tegenaria agrestis is what is commonly known, especially around where I live, as the hobo spider. Now, a lot of people absolutely cringe at the term hobo spider because there's a lot of bad publicity out there about the poor little hobo spider, and that it's extremely venomous and that you'll be hospitalized by it, and that it's aggressive and it'll chase after you, and blah blah blah. Now, I'm here to tell you that none of that is true. At all. Okay, the thing about the venom is it hasn't been able to be repeated consistently in a lab that the bite would be dangerous to a human, so really it's not dangerous to a human. Now, another reason that hobo spiders get such a bad rap is people think they're everywhere. And in places like Washington, Seattle area and stuff, in the urban areas, yeah, there were quite a few hobo spiders because of extermination and things like that. The population has been on the decline, which I find a little bit sad. But we're going to talk about this neat little spider called the Tegenaria agrestis and hopefully shed some light on its heavily fogged past. Now, one of the biggest misconceptions about this spider, just to begin with, is its name. People see the word agrestis in its scientific name and they assume that it means aggressive. Agrestis doesn't mean anything of the sort. The Tegenaria agrestis was first identified in 1802 in a Paris-based natural journal, and it was described and named as the Araneia agrestis, which simply means spider of the field. In Europe, where the species originates, that's where these little critters love to live. They lived far away in quarries, in fields, and very far away from homes. Occasionally they'd be found, sometimes maybe in a greenhouse, but as a general rule, they were pretty far off from the human population. Now, later on, this species came over to America. Now, for some reason, it was noticed that the Tegenaria agrestis did not take to the same type of environment that it took to in its European home. Instead, it took to being in the basements, in the groundwork of homes, probably for the coolness and for the wide variety of bugs that can be found along the various lower parts of our houses. So exactly what kind of genus is the spider from? Well, Tegenaria is a European house spider. That's all it is. So when you see the name Tegenaria agrestis, it's not aggressive and it's not some bizarre exotic creature. It's a European house spider. So usually once I've cleared up those kinds of questions for people, more questions come up, like this one. What about those giant bulbous fangs that they have? Or those giant bulbous venom sacs that they have that other spiders don't have? That must make them dangerous, right? No, quite the contrary. What you're seeing aren't venom sacs, they're not fangs, they're pedipalps. And you're finding a mature male hobo spider. What happens is, basically, that's how a male spider mates. They don't have genitalia in the same sense that mammals do, and so basically they have to put all of the sperm into these special emboli in their pedipalps. And when they're mature male, they become quite bulbous. Some people call them the hobo spider's boxing gloves, and yeah, I will admit they do kind of look like boxing gloves. But, fun fact, they look like that on a lot of other spiders, even some tarantulas too. So no, they're not giant fangs, they're not giant venom sacs. It's just a mature male out to find a mate. That's all he's doing. Now, another question that I get is, well, what about those stories I hear about them charging people and attacking people? Also not true. You see, these poor little hobo spiders, they have terrible eyesight. They can't make out a shape of much of anything any more than a foot or two away. They have terrible, terrible eyesight. So anytime that you flick a light on and you see one of them just freeze, it's scared. It doesn't know what just happened, but it knows there's been a change. And so when a hobo spider is frightened, usually it will remain stationary. Now, when it decides to run again and people say, oh, it ran straight at me, chances are it didn't even know you were there. It didn't know that there was something in its way. It just kind of started running. It had no idea where it was going, and it just wanted to get out of there. It knew it was probably in danger. It was just trying to preserve its own life. It had nothing to do with you. So from what we've learned, the Tegenaria agrestis is completely harmless. Yes, there are instances of being bitten, but that's usually during mating season when a male will find himself maybe in one of our crawl spaces or our attics. So they're trying to find a mate, they get too close to human skin, usually stuck between human skin and something else, and they don't have a choice. They have to bite. But like I said, the bite is harmless. Now remember, if you are ever bit by any kind of spider, or you see any kind of unknown spider in your house, don't put it on Facebook. Don't send it to your cousin who seems to know a lot about spiders. Send it to a university, send it to an entomologist, send it to an arachnologist. That would be ideal, but finding an actual arachnologist is kind of hard. Send it to one of them. Have them identify it, have them identify the bite. Fun fact, most doctors aren't even trained at all in identifying bites or venoms. So if a doctor told you it was a hobo spider bite or a brown recluse bite or whatever, he probably doesn't know what he's talking about. Unless they have been trained in the venoms in various entomology species, he doesn't know what he's talking about. I hate to break it to you, doctors don't know everything. So if you find something you can't identify and you want it identified, for Pete's sake, don't go to the internet. I mean, unless it's me, maybe I can help you. But the rest of the internet, no. They're prejudiced against hobo spiders. They're prejudiced against spiders in general. And you will hear some ridiculous horror stories about probably what you found is a harmless house spider. So if you come across a Tegenarius agrestis, leave them alone. Leave her alone. And they'll leave you alone. They really have no interest in being around you, just like you probably don't have much of an interest to be around them. Just keep calm, maybe escort him somewhere else, and he'll be perfectly happy and fine. There's no sense in just killing spiders and other living creatures for no reason just because you're a little bit scared of them. Especially since I've told you countless times before, they're not going to hurt you, they're not going to kill you, they're not going to put you in the hospital. So let's think hard before we decide to end a life and make the decision with a more level head than just mindlessly squishing it. It's not a bear in your house, okay? It's a spider. Make sure you leave a like on your way out of this video. Really helps me out a lot. And if you really liked this video, you should subscribe. And that would also help me out a lot and see more videos like this, because I will be putting out more videos like this because that's what I do. And if you didn't like this video, well then you're a hater, and we all know what haters are going to do. They're going to misidentify hobo spiders. So thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you guys next time.
Can you even imagine finding a freaking bear in your house?